Hey, what's going on, guys? Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video, I'm working on an 06 Tundra. The customer says he thinks he's hearing wheel bearing noise up front. He says it sounds like it's on the left side and the right side. When he's at 50 miles an hour and he does a slight turn to the left or to the right, he's hearing noise, like a grinding noise. Not a vibration, but a grinding noise. So in this video, we're going to diagnose it and see what we can find. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is going to be kind of a short video. Let me show you what I did. So he says he's hearing wheel bearing noise. I got it up in the air, I checked the bearings, I used my stethoscopes, and I went on the inside. I had someone turn it. Couldn't hear a thing. Just sounded tight as a drum. So we took it up on the interstate and I let the customer drive, and we went for, I know, a good 10 minutes, and finally I started hearing a little bit, and it sounded like it was coming in the middle of the floor area. So let me show you what I found. So after we checked out the front, we started moving towards the back. I started with the U-joints, checking out the U-joints all the way down. And we got to the center bearing here. It doesn't look that bad, but if you watch it, watch this go up and down. That is way too much play. So what was happening was, when he was driving straight, this started vibrating a little bit like this, and he was hearing, I guess, a grinding noise. Not so much a vibration, but a grinding noise. And then when he turned left and he turned right, this flexed both ways. So that's why he was hearing it in both directions. So guys, here's something to think about. Not all carrier bearings are going to give you that vibration when you're driving. Some of them will just give you a grinding sound, especially if they're not worn to that point where it's going to vibrate. You're just starting to wear the bearings out a little bit. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the carrier bearing. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get the parts ordered. When they get here, we'll get to work. All right, the skill level on this is probably about a 2 or 3. It's a pretty simple project, do at home. First thing I do is put the vehicle in neutral so I can come under the car and move this without climbing back and forth. The nut and bolt are 14s. Just put them close together like that and you can get them loose. Now, before I take it apart, I'm gonna mark this one right here. We'll put it back on the same mark just to keep the drivetrain factory setting. He said he's been hearing this noise for a while now. Just haven't been able to pinpoint it. Damn, this one's tight as shit. When you go back with these, it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of blue Loctite. You can use red. You should be able to get a hammer, just tap on it to free it up. And just let it hang, just like that. All right, once I got the back half of the drive shaft down, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the 2 bolts that are holding it to the frame. They're 14 millimeters. If you don't have an impact, you might wanna soak them down with something. I see a lot of people take out the front half of the shaft and go to the table to do it. You really don't have to go that extra step. If you just take out this one nut right here, this flange will come out and the bearing will slide right off. Lucky guess. It's a 24 millimeter. There is a washer, don't lose it. Make sure you go back with it. And you can get your hammer and just tap this right off. Yeah. Trying for plan B. It normally comes right off. This one's frozen on there, I guess because the bearings kind of heated it up on there. Just like that. All right, guys, here's the part number to the new one that I'm putting on. If you look down on this, you can see what I'm talking about. You see how this bearing is nice and equal all the way around. If you look over here on this one here, it is off-centered all the way down here. So that being like that and the bearing wearing out, this rubber wasn't gone, so that's why he wasn't feeling vibration. It was just worn down and the bearing was making noise, so it gave the effect of a wheel bearing. So here's the part that's going on the car. And if you take a second look at it, you can see what I'm talking about. Look how this bearing is centered and look how this bearing is off-centered. So what happened was he wasn't getting a vibration because the actual rubber that held that bearing in place wasn't ripped. It was just off-centered a little bit, but the bearing was so worn that it was grinding. So he was hearing that grinding noise and thinking it was a wheel bearing, but in reality, it was just a center carrier bearing. So it's just reverse procedure to put that bearing on. So I'm not going to show you that part because it's pretty simple. Like I showed you, taking it off is pretty simple. The next time you'll see me, we'll be on our test drive. Catch you in a bit. So I got the truck up on the interstate. I started at 50 miles an hour, went all the way up to 80 miles an hour, and I checked for that noise at different levels, and there was none. That noise is gone. There's no vibration, there's no grinding. So guys, you know what I always say, you know how you know it's a job well done? when there's no bolts left over. Guys, that is it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.